Hey, we're live. Woo!
We're live. We're a day early.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. We are early. We're coming to you on a Saturday evening.
And we didn't come to you last week at all.
We didn't because we were tired.
Well, we had stuff happening and just
I don't even
things
know
weren't
where we
working
were
out.
or what we were doing, but
Oops.
oh well. Welcome, gentle viewer. Thank you for
And
watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to go find us on the Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to follow our not follow, but go to the website hollywoodmatrimony.com. It's right there on the bottom of the screen.
you can subscribe to the website.
You can?
That's kind of like following. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, go subscribe, go like, go share. Send us some hearts. Send us some stars. I saw on YouTube you can also send something that sends money.
Oh,
We take all these things.
I like money.
I'll take your stars, your bubbles, your
We'll
hearts.
we never ask for money, but we'll always take money.
I'll take it. I mean, I ain't gonna say no. Yeah, there's this thing now where you can send.
I mean, these websites, all this stuff costs money, man.
It does. We have to pay lots of
Not
money.
the Instagrams and all that, but
maybe you have to go enable it because
the
I saw on
hosting
somebody's
softwares
thing where you can send them bubble things.
I got you.
Anyways, go do all that. Thank you. Send stars, hearts, bubbles, whatever. All right, friends. We have a lot of movies to talk about since we didn't have a show last week.
Yeah, we had one thing after that, and then this week we have a graduation thing to go to tomorrow. This is graduation weekend.
Yes, everyone's graduating, so we have a little dinner to go to tomorrow. So that's why we're having our show today.
That's right. So I know you're all home. It's Saturday. You have nothing else to do but watch this stupid show.
I mean, there is nothing else to do. I mean, here it's like 104 degrees outside, so we're not going outside. So you're home. You might as well watch us.
If you did go outside, shame on you. It's cold.
And I had no idea it was even that hot outside because it hadn't been outside all day. You know me, I'm not trying to go outside.
It's the worst.
So I went out and like I was burning, like my skin was burning. And I was like, OMG.
Were your biscuits burning?
My biscuits were burning, and I could feel myself like tanning and getting darker
it's one of those
immediately.
Where you walk out and you just start sweating.
Yeah. Well, no, my skin was literally like kind of burning.
Oh, did you put this on there?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, my skin was kind of burning feeling. So I was like, oh, I'm tanning already. Anyways, thank you so much for joining the show, for being here with us today. Where do we want to start? Because we have a lot of movies to talk about.
I think almost all of these we both saw. I think maybe just one.
There's one we didn't. You know what? I'm going to just go in this direction and see where it takes us. How about that? All right. So the first one is a little animated feature that we watched earlier this afternoon with the grandchild. She was enthralled for a little bit.
And she was enthralled about as long as we were.
And then when she left it, then she kind of came back. So this is a new movie with Tweety and Sylvester called King Tweety.
And it's one of those that always throws me because I always forget Tweety Bird is a boy.
Tweety is a boy, technically.
Because everything about Tweety Bird screams girl, not gay, not anything. It just screams girl.
Well, and even in this, at one point they dress him up, and he has these cute little hoop earrings and like this cool fashion diva kind of thing. And I'm just like, okay, but I've always thought it was a girl too. Yeah, but I forget it's a boy.
I just thought it was a girl based on the voice because I just never thought twice about it.
It's a Tweety Bird.
And well, the Tweety Bird also always had big, like as a cartoonist, you draw the big luscious eyebrows with more of a female. I mean, excuse me, eyelash. Thank you. With a female character, and they always had that too. So it doesn't really matter. It's just. It's one of those things. So when King Tweety first came out, I went, wait, oh yeah.
There you go.
So anyway, it's a newer animation style, meaning some of the new designs of the characters. They still look the same, but there's a little tweak of the modern art. I am not a big fan of Looney Tunes, and they're part of the Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not a big fan of the Looney Tunes and stuff, so I'm kind of hit and miss with a lot of them. I love cartoons, but I like a lot of the more off the wall stuff. Yeah, but you like a lot of the Looney Tunes.
I do like a lot of it, and so I was kind of looking forward to it. I like Sylvester and Tweety. Remember when you first met me? I had my Sylvester car mats in my first Mustang.
Vaguely,
they had Sylvester on them. They had my name in it, and had Sylvester everywhere. Like I was a huge.
If I had noticed that, we might not be married.
Wow! So I was a huge fan. So I was totally into this. See, look how they have them dressed up. Anyways, so basically, the point of this movie is there's a kingdom where the Queen Tweety Bird has...
Isn't it Canary Island or something?
Canary Island or something. The Queen Tweety Bird at that island has been taken. So they're looking for the next Tweety King of the world. And they put a call out to anyone out there that believes they could be part of the royal family. Sylvester calls and he's like, I have your Tweety bird. And so they go on this grand adventure to the Canary Islands to see if Tweety can become king.
And it's surprisingly full of a lot of action and mystical powers and all kinds of weird
like
crap.
There's more going on than I would think for just a normal movie.
For a Sylvester Tweety bird movie. Yeah. I expect like an adventure in their house and the cat trying to eat the bird. I mean, the bird trying to eat the cat trying to eat the bird, and maybe another cat or maybe another bird. So they're hiding each other, running around, that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of crap going on.
Yeah. So I guess I was expecting it to be the same old, I'm going to try to eat you, but it wasn't. It was bigger than that. And so that part I actually liked.
My issue with the movie is, again, I'm not a huge fan of the characters, so it already makes it a little harder for me to care. The animation I liked. I like the styles of them. The story, I enjoyed it more because it did something with the characters I didn't expect.
Yeah, I agree.
That then made me care a little bit more about watching it just for the fun aspect. It's not good, but it's not horrible either.
Yeah. I think the one thing that you noticed immediately, and then later it bothered me, was Sylvester doesn't have his lisp anymore. So he's not spitting everywhere and lisping. And we don't know if that was on purpose.
Yeah,
to be sensitive.
Yeah, it did open up a discussion of do we think that they purposely toned down the speech impediment of the character to be more sensitive to the time, and if they did, I totally understand, because there's a different perception of how these characters came off back then and how they come off now, but also as someone who's grew up with the characters, love them or hate them, it makes the character feel wrong because they never talked about his speech impediment like it was a problem. It was just the character.
Correct.
And so that's when it bothers me when they change characters like that, because they're like, well, we need more sensitive, because somebody might have felt insensitive, but at the same time, if that's just how that person talks, why do we need to change that? Did a parent complain, oh, you're making fun of them? Or did somebody with a speech impediment? I've never heard a speech impediment person say Sylvester ruined my life. I don't know that. I have friends that have a lisp and talk like this, but that's part of the charm of the character, is the spitting, and that was kind of
It says it was his trademark lisp, which often includes spittle.
Yeah, and I never thought so much about the lisp as I thought about the spitting.
The spitting, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was the spitting part that was funny, not that he talked funny.
Yeah.
And it's not being there, it does feel like it's a completely different character.
Yeah. And the voice is different.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Which that happens, and that could be the case too. Because
maybe it's the voice.
A lot of the original voices and stuff, have obviously changed now, because a lot of those people either passed away, or they're doing other things, or they're not there, or that when they make these animated features, a lot of times they just don't go back to some of the other cast members, and sometimes somebody brings a little bit slightly different because they don't want to just copy what somebody did before. And this being an original movie with a new animation style, oftentimes they go with a new voice. We could be reading way more into this.
I think they changed it for PC reasons, which upsets me, but I get it. But then again, I think the cartoons have been the place where we see it the most, where things have been cut.
Yeah.
And things have gone away. Like my original Tom and Jerry cartoons that I love, I'll probably never see those again.
Yeah, they're around, but they're harder
to find.
The ones that are the hardest to find are the ones that have the
anything with the crows.
The crows,
or
the ones
with
the
which was
the black lady mama.
Yeah, the mama.
You see the ones with the white lady, but not so
much.
Or
even like I was saying, Tom and Jerry with the black face. I mean, I understand
the ones with the natives.
The natives. Like Popeye on Goon Island, like we're never going to see any.
It's really funny. I'm not saying it's not.
I understand it.
As a white person, I know this is going to come off insensitive,
and
I don't mean it this way.
I need an insensitive banner.
Well, it's because if somebody disagrees with me, it's because I'm white. That's why it's going to. I don't understand it, and I don't. But every time I see a news article or something about these kind of things of this offended somebody, or this voice, or this character's vibe, or whatever, it's never the people that actually have that problem.
Correct.
It's never the Hispanic people throwing a fit about Speedy Gonzalez.
We love Speedy Gonzalez, by the way.
It's the white people that feel guilty about Speedy Gonzalez.
That's true.
It's the white people that feel guilty that they made that cartoon in the first place. that now are like, oh, that's some white lady didn't want her kid to see this and was offensive. But guess what? As kids, none of us ever saw anything racist in these cartoons.
We never knew.
We never, I mean, I can speak for myself. I'm assuming you and anybody else that I know growing up.
No.
When we saw the natives throw Bugs Bunny into a cauldron to make and cut up carrots and was doing the thing and making the chants, not once did we see a stereotype. We saw,
oh my gosh, they're going to eat Bugs
Bunny.
Bunny.
Eat Bugs Bunny. When I saw Bugs Bunny kissing a man, I never saw Bugs Bunny's gay. I thought, oh, he's trying to make him mad or he's disguised. And, you know, and of course, the other problem with that is you take some of the groups that are a little more, I don't want to say extreme, but like for instance, there's a lot of arguments about the drag shows and kids being at drag shows and stuff. And I saw somebody post something about, you know, Bugs Bunny being in drag as a kid, you know, and indoctrinating your children, and you were fine with that. But I'm like, unless you had those tendencies, we didn't notice it that way.
No, he was just dressed up. He was hiding.
You know, it wasn't until I was older that I started hearing it, and then I started, and then I got on the train of Bugs Bunny was a cross-dresser and Bugs Bunny might be gay.
Okay.
Because every cartoon they did that, and that might have been the case of the animator or the writer, because that was obviously the joke. But as a kid, I didn't see that. Now, as a gay kid, you might see that differently.
Correct.
And I get that. But it wasn't something that was just every kid woke up and saw that.
Correct.
You know. I know we got to be more sensitive, I guess, but I get irritated when they censor things that already exist to try to hide them.
Yeah.
You know, like did you know that if you buy a season of Sesame Street, that it has a parental warning on it of the old ones? Because the old ones, they might show they went to like cigarette factory, or they might show somebody smoking, a character doing something.
Wow.
You know, it's like if you watch the old Peter Pan movie.
That's true.
In that movie.
Smoking.
And Dumbo, they get high. But
I know, but that's why they're telling you, don't do it, kid. They're trying to talk you out of it.
There's a message in there. Anyway, back to King Tweety. That doesn't have any of these things.
Sorry, we got off.
Unoffensive. Although there's a very hilarious discussion that's completely separate from the rest of the movie. It's two random conversations, two characters having an argument about what Jesse's Girl is really about. And they're talking about it being like a gay undertone. They're never saying gay. So for those of you like, I don't want to hear about that. A child will have no idea what they're talking about. But if you know the song Jesse's Girl, it actually makes sense. Yeah. The conversation is pretty funny. It's
funny. And I'm just like, that is a random conversation. And you're like, Jesse's Girl? I'm like, yeah, Jesse's Girl.
And I'm like, okay. That is a genius.
It was
bit
genius
of dialogue.
that they got that
hilarious.
on there. Anyways, check out King Tweety. Where would I find King Tweety?
It comes out this week on DVD.
Yeah, you can get your own DVD copy.
Like I said, if you're a fan of the Looney Tunes and Sylvester and Tweety, give it a try. It might work for you. Like I said, the animation worked for me. I'm just not a big fan of the characters.
Yeah.
But the movie was fun enough
it's
for what
fine.
it is. I'll have an official review up for it later on.
Kids movie. What are you going to do?
Moving on.
Okay, I'm going here. Is that cool?
Yeah. All right. So if you didn't know this, years ago, Adam Sandler signed this massive multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix. So when you say Adam Sandler must have fallen from grace because we don't see him in the theater anymore, no. Adam Sandler scored a buttload of money to be exclusive to Netflix. And so pretty much every movie he makes mostly comes to Netflix now.
Correct.
Things like Uncut Gems and things were not Netflix movies that came out the theater, but a lot of his comedies and things come in. So he has another new movie this week that came out called Hustle, co-starring Queen Latifah and a whole bunch of basketball players.
Tons of basketball players.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go on all their names. Tell us what this movie is about.
So he is a scout, and he travels the world trying to find the next big thing to put him in the draft or to get him on their team.
But yeah, he works for the Philadelphia. Is it Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Well, the 76ers, and he's trying to find somebody for them because they're struggling.
Best thing out there. So I really liked this movie.
He's really good.
I don't particularly care about basketball.
You don't need to.
But this made me very excited about it, to see all the training they were doing, because I'm like, dang, what they actually go through is insane. It's not just about, can I dribble a ball and shoot it? Like, there's so many drills that go into it, and being able to take the blocks and the hits and
the mind game
of it, and then your stamina. I mean, there's so much in this thing.
So what I found interesting about it is a drama. It's not a comedy.
It's a drama.
So before you think, this is drama Adam Sandler, who's really, really good in dramas. Like he was excellent in Uncut Gems, Punch Drunk Love, a lot of these other movies he's done that he's been excellent when he gets his time to shine. Most of us obviously know Adam Sandler from his funny, silly, dumb movies. But I think he actually soars in these kind of movies. He has a real life passion for basketball. He plays often, and he plays with a lot of the NBA players. You know, he'll admittedly
he knows
say
a lot of people.
Yeah, he'll admittedly say I'm not as good as them, but he also they showed a video on Jimmy Fallon of him on a balcony and shooting a ball and then making it into the hoop where he's at, and it's very well known that he plays a lot of basketball. In this movie, he co-produced with LeBron James, and so seeing him in a movie like this, that you know he has a passion for it, and he's really good in it, and it gives him a chance to not be silly Adam Sandler, but be
dramatic.
Not just dramatic though, but a kind of a down on your luck guy instead of just. He's still an everyman, but a man that has dreams, that has more to offer. He's a smart man, but he makes some dumb decisions sometimes, but for the right reasons. And there's a lot of layers to the character. He's really good. One of my biggest concerns going into this was knowing, like, I love Queen Latifah. Okay?
I love Queen Latifah.
I was a fan of Queen Latifah from my rap days. I didn't rap, but being a fan of rap. So obviously I followed her into Living Single and Set It Off and all of her movies and stuff she's done. And then I watched The Equalizer, and is it a great show? No, but I'll support anything Queen Latifah does.
Correct.
I was a little concerned when I found out that she was going to play Adam Sandler's wife. Not because it's a black and white thing. It was because how will that work? Because Queen Latifah is just always cool. Adam Sandler, not so much. So I'm a fan of both, but how would that dynamic look on screen? And it worked excellent.
It worked really well.
It looked like two people that found each other through sports, which we find on the movie. And she seems like the sensible, control person in that relationship, which I would have no doubt Queen Latifah would be in control of whatever element. If you go back and listen to that one song, which is Who You Calling a Bitch song, if you don't know that song. But yeah, it really worked. They have a great dynamic. They're supportive. She doesn't have a huge part in the movie, but it's an important part because she kind of grounds him.
She's there a lot.
I don't fully believe
she is there.
I don't really believe in interracial relationships.
Wow. But then I think in real life, I think they were cool friends in real life too. I think they could be friends.
They probably aren't. I don't think they knew each other prior to this.
Really? See,
because I've seen interviews with both of them. They've been both praising each other. But
so nice.
Seeing them work together and stuff, it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I like about this movie is it's kind of unexpected. A lot of things that happen in this movie are unexpected, and it goes in weird directions and I don't expect. Just his first encounter with this guy he finds on the random streets of Spain, and then he follows him, and I'm like, okay, that's awkward. But then they come back here and this thing happens, and I'm like, oh, that's awkward too. And then him having to tell Queen Latifah, his wife, what's going on. I'm like, ooh. So, I mean, there's just so many awkward things.
I also want to applaud that mentality that it never went the direction that they had to have issues in their family life. She supported him.
Correct.
She told him some things were stupid decisions.
Yes.
But she's like, I got your back. It felt like a real relationship.
That's what I was going to tell you. It went in so many random directions, but it's things that could actually happen in real life.
But in most Hollywood things, immediately it's got to become friction. It's got to be fight.
Somebody's going to leave somebody.
Of course, there's going to be problems with him and the basketball guy because there's a lot of vested dialogue. If you didn't have friction with that, there's no movie. But to make her be so supportive of everything he does, she was always there to lift him up and to tell him, look. And there's a whole thing of her like telling him to quit his job at one point. And then when he finally does, she's like, I didn't mean now, So
he's like, but you told me to. He said exactly what he told me to say.
And she's supportive, but at the same time, she's like, well, we should have talked about it, but it made that dynamic feel real because there was not always, it was not always I agree with you, but always I got your back.
See, and that's what I thought. I thought about us because I do dumb things, and then you have to help me. And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet. You're my Queen Latifah."
Matter of fact, that happened today when we got home.
What did I do?
So we were getting things out of the car. So we had food.
Oh my gosh!
And so I had a bag of food.
Ice
I had
creams,
a dessert thing that my son gave us from
drinks.
his restaurant, and we had 2 drinks and whatever. I said, "You got the drinks?" She's like, "Yeah." So I pick up stuff I had, and I got to the garage, put stuff down. I came back, and I'm like, "Give me the drinks." It's like, I said, I got, like, you got history with the drinks. Just hand me the drinks.
I spill.
It's like, all I could think about is like, you got this, and the mom went, no, she does not have this. I'm gonna go take care of this.
No, because I had an ice cream cone in my mouth.
Oh my
God!
I
got it.
I'm gonna be starting on the stupid ice cream cone.
Yeah, I spilled ice cream all
anyway,
over.
Back to Hustle.
Anyways, this is a great movie. To me, it was dramatic. It was emotional. I laughed. I cried. I got angry. I yelled at that one dude that's always jerk.
And I like that the way they shot the basketball stuff.
Oh my gosh!
It felt like an action movie at points because you're getting a lot of action on the court between the training. It felt like a Rocky movie.
Yes, that's what I tell you.
It kind of felt like Rocky 4, but it's a better movie.
But there is no better than
I'm talking
about
Rocky 5. Excuse me, Rocky 5.
Okay,
and there are way better movies than Rocky 4.
Because I love Rocky. Don't go there.
I meant Rocky 5, not Rocky 4. But yeah.
But I'm telling you, because he's doing these things, and you have to do this, and like do this, and this, and then you're here, and then you're here, and here. No, but you have to hit the targets and keep going, and then the guy's like pushing you, and you can't get mad, and you can't drop the ball. He's like doing this thing to you, like what we do in Muay Thai.
When I'm pushing you and stuff. Now you know why you
just got to keep doing your thing, and you get pushed, and you keep doing your thing. You can't get mad, like when Drusilla got mad and threw her mouth guard out. It's like, come on, you can't do that.
Why don't you tell everybody who you were fighting at that time?
I was fighting this man right here. He was hitting me in the head.
In class, not in my living room.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Make it clear.
Sorry, there is no domestic violence. I'm sorry.
We do it in the ring at the Taekwondo class.
Anyways, this movie is so good, and I hope everyone watches it. It's on Netflix.
It is really good.
You've got to watch it.
It's
Please,
one of those movies
don't let the dumb Adam Sandler stuff keep you from watching his good dramatic movies. Yeah. This is a good one. Now, let's talk about some of his dumb ones. What are your favorite Adam Sandler movies? I like some of the dumb ones. I'm going to just be honest.
And so you'll know, she mentioned this before we went on the show. We didn't discuss it. She asked me, and she goes, wait, don't answer. I want to hear it on the show. But
Did you see? Oh, Juan G said he saw the movie. Did you like it? I hope you liked it. It was so good.
But I immediately told her, like, oh, I already know your 3, and I named them off just like that. And not even because it's...
Hi, who's saying hi to us on YouTube?
Oh, hello.
It's your friends.
Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome.
Okay, so my favorite Adam Sandler movies, we know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Little Nicky. I don't know why. It's so dumb, but I like it.
It's one of those that I cannot stand. I wish I did.
The Wedding Singer.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like 51st Dates. I like the Hubie Halloween that came out last week on Netflix. I know it was
Hubie Halloween. I thought it was funny. It's a horrible movie, but it's funny.
It's funny. It's bad, but it's funny. And this movie is really good.
I think... You know what? I don't think I really have a favorite Adam Sandler movie. But I will say this. For the longest time, I would watch anything Adam Sandler did. I love The Wedding Singer. It's a great movie. I'm more of a fan of hers now than I was then. I hated Drew Barrymore.
Oh, you never
I liked
did.
the little kid Drew Barrymore, and I like Super Smoking Hot. I'm on drugs and shows her boobs a lot. Drew Barrymore during Poison Ivy era, but
she got over.
Then as she got older, she kind of just started annoying me. I kind of like her now again, but despite that, I ended up really liking The Wedding Singer. Mm-hmm. I love The Waterboy because the movie is just ridiculous.
I don't like that one. I don't know why. It's so funny.
The movie's not good, but
there's so many good ones.
It is. Big Daddy is good. What is the one where he goes back to school? I've gone blank.
Anger Management.
No, it's before that.
Spanglish.
Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds.
I think that's it. I like his remake of. I actually like a lot. I like his remake of The Longest Yard that he did, which is actually a remake of a Burt Reynolds movie. If you didn't know that,
I did not know that.
And I know it's probably cliche, and most people don't know. I like Grown Ups.
I like Grown Ups. Let's get chocolate wasted. Yeah, I like it.
I like that.
Chuck
movie.
And Larry. Is that the one where?
Chuck and Larry is so good. Yes, that's the gay. Where they pretend to be the gay firefighters.
Basketball, and he hits him on sweaty chest hair. Oh, so gross.
I like You Don't Mess with the Zohan. Like there's
Uncut Gems was a good dramatic movie.
Yeah. Uncut Gems is an excellent movie. But if, like I said, I have so many of them that I really like. But
people like Grown Ups, Longs Yard. Yeah, see, I mean, he's good. He can do good
hold on,
things.
I gotta go find
and you are right. You were telling me earlier, some people are just, you hear Adam Sandler, they're just not going to watch it.
Well,
because they think he's going to do something dumb.
Well, it's also one of these things that a lot of people feel like it's happened with a lot of the older actors who were massively popular, massive box office draws. Then when they have a bunch of clunkers per se, whether it was box office or just reviews, it gets to where then everybody hates, like the Hateful, not the Hateful Eight, the something Six. What is the Western he did? The Ridiculous Six. The movie's awful, but I thought it was hilarious. It's a horrible, horrible movie, but I thought it was hilarious. Airheads, I think, is a great movie.
Never seen that.
That's with him, Brendan Fraser, and Steve Buscemi, I believe, where they're like heavy metal guys. But that's more of an ensemble.
Okay, an ensemble.
So anyway.
Anyways.
I will say that I think of all the people, I want to say that I have probably the most respect for Adam Sandler via Hollywood. Because he's one of those guys that every story I hear about him is about him helping somebody else, like another comedian or a friend. He's had the same producing partners forever. That guy's in almost every movie he does. You know, with Grown Ups, all those people are his real life friends, and they're all did tours together. You know, with Chris Rock and David Spade and all these guys, and knowing that he's still, you know, if you go watch any of their movies, they all show up.
Yeah.
You know, when the Water Boy, you know, Rob Schneider shows up, you can do it, you know. But then when he did Deuce Bigelow, Adam Sandler shows up, you can do it, you know. It's kind of the same thing. So you can see that support, which just to me, it has always made him more endearing. And look, I can find fun in any movie, a horribly bad movie or not, but it is what it is. Hustle is one of the good ones.
It's a good one, guys. You need to check it out.
It is available now on the Netflix.
Go watch it.
Go check it out. Watch some basketballing.
Everybody was playing
and if you're a big basketball fan, outside of the insane amount of real life basketball players,
in that movie.
You can even find people. The Professor is in there. If you don't know who the Professor is, go check him out on YouTube.
He's
got some cool videos. Yeah, he does some crazy stuff.
It's crazy.
Anyway, moving on.
All right, next movie. You have to tell me I did not watch this. This is Eraser Reborn.
Okay, so let's talk about Eraser Reborn.
Oh, goodness.
So a little backstory for the few people that may not know, yourself included.
Yes, tell me.
Eraser is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. That this is not picking up for some reason. Hold on a second. Let me pull up what I was trying to pull up.
You want me to get there?
I got it.
It
just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. So back in 1996, Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in a movie called Eraser. I think had Naomi Campbell in it as well. And it was badass action movie. It fit with all the Arnold Schwarzenegger flicks of the time. I loved Eraser. I'll never forget it. Has these things where they're having these big guns and they're shooting these aluminum bullets because the bullets fly faster. It's almost like they're shooting lasers. It's just this really cool movie. But it's about this guy who his whole job is making people disappear. You erase your existence. Not to kill you like you're a bad guy, but like you're a witness, put them in protection, or they need to save you, so they make you appear dead, so then they don't look for you anymore.
This guy says engineering the fake deaths of witnesses that leaves no trace of theirs.
So the new movie has no connection to the original movie.
Oh, goodness.
They basically just took the same kind of job, the Eraser idea, and made a new one. So Reborn, I'm assuming meant they're kind of revising in the franchise, but it's not talking about Schwarzenegger or anything else. So, and they don't need to. It's one of those kind of stories that you can make a ton of Eraser movies, and each one's about a different Eraser character.
Gotcha.
You know, hell, you can make an Eraser movie and it'd be about a pencil eraser factory. It'd be the same thing. So this new one, I didn't have overexcitement to watch it because I like the original movie, and when they make these like this, a spinoff, very rarely do they live up to the original. Knowing it wasn't connected, it was able to give me a little more of a separation that I could say, let's go into this one, and I can let the other one go. This is its own movie. I did watch the trailer on this one first. I don't do that a lot on some of these because I don't want to have a preconceived notion going into these straight to video movies and it just looks horrible, so I already know it's going to suck. The action looked awesome in the trailer. So I'm like, maybe this will be one of those uncut gems. Maybe this will be one of those gems that you find that just ends up being a great action flick. It's not. It's not bad either, though. It's a very just throwaway generic action flick. Some of the action is really good. The story's cliched. It's the same crap we've seen a bunch of times. They go out of their way for him to say you've been erased as many times as you possibly can. You know, when he does something to somebody, he's like, you've been erased. You know, I'm like, shut up.
How did this guy do? This is Dominic Sherwood, who most people would probably know from the show Shadowhunters or from the show Penny Dreadful.
He was fine.
Was he even like menacing or manly or beefy? Because in the other shows, he was like lean muscle. So I was wondering if
he's not running around with his shirt off. He's in
tactical gear, it looks
tactical vests and stuff. He's fine in the movie. He's not bad. He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. He doesn't have that same presence, and he doesn't deliver the one-liners better. So I'm growing up in the 80s and the 90s. I'm all about action stars and their one-liners.
Yeah.
You know, I come in peace. You go in pieces. You know, that kind of stuff is the worst dialogue you can think of, and I love it.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite lines is from Commando. What is the line? Do you remember?
I don't know.
The guy's like, you said you're going to kill me last. I
lied.
And he drops it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite all-time scenes just because it's so great and so bad all at once. But there's something about this new generation of actors and action stars, and maybe it's because they don't have accents where you can hardly understand them. Maybe it's their physical presence, but their one-liners never work. They always sound like they're forcing it.
Yeah.
And that's what this happened in this movie is he would do something like the first time he did it, it was okay. He shot this guy. You think he's dead, and the guy wakes up, and he goes, what happened? He's like, you've been erased. Dun, 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 and then the credits. I'm like, okay. I can see that. That works. But then 3 more times in the movie, you've been erased.
Yeah, you don't need to say it over and over.
It was almost like they put in his job description that said, look, once you finish your job, you were copyright required to say you've been erased.
So many times.
And then, of course, there's the same cliche story of the guys trying to save the girl, and they start falling in love, and there's the cartels, and it's all of it is the same crap. And then the agents that are your partners turn on you for no apparent reason, and then to make it all worse, it could have been fine. But then I'm not even going to tell you context. I'm just going to say at some point in the film, there is a CGI hippo and a CGI rhino to get in on the action.
What?
That's the exact same phrase I had.
That makes no sense.
When I saw it in the film, said the same thing.
Oh my!
And I saw it in context. So it's not a good movie. It's not a bad movie. It's a very generic, forgettable. But if you just want to watch a throwaway action flick, or if
you're a super fan of him, because lots of ladies find him cute.
It's worth checking out, I guess, and give it a chance to decide for yourself. Because these are the kind of movies. There's some people that love these movies.
Yeah.
This is the kind of movie that I would have rented as a kid, and I would ate it up because I would have been like, "Ooh, look at that guy get shot,"
and you would have been like, "You've been erased."
That's right. And I would have run around saying it until my parents grounded me.
So, well. Okay, anyway, check it out.
It is available now on Blu-ray and DVD, and you can erase it from your mind.
There you go. All right. So people can't say that we like all movies because people have been saying that. We get that sometimes that we like everything. Well, guess what, buddies?
We're about to talk about something. Here's my thing with that statement that we like everything.
We try to find something good in everything.
She comes from theater. I used to do a lot of stunt work. We both worked on a lot of independent films ourselves with friends. I've been on real sets. I worked on real TV shows, and we're in some shows that were on networks. And part of me feels the urge of when I review something, I know the amount of work goes into making that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel right bashing it because it sucks. I'm going to look for something that was good. I can't always find something, but I try. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times if you read a review from me, and I don't say us because I write 90% of them.
I would say 95.
98. If you read a review from me and it sounds like a positive review, it's because I don't hate much of anything. I may not like something. I may never watch it again. Like I'll never watch Jurassic Reborn again, but I didn't hate the movie. It's just not a very good movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I watched that movie. Like even Twilight, I cannot stand that franchise, but I understand its appeal to people.
Yeah.
You know, and I like. There's moments that work. So if I can't stand it, I hate that one. I'll say I hate that franchise, but
it's okay.
I respect people's opinions of stuff, and I'm not going to make you think what I think. So it does come off that I like more than I hate,
mm-hmm.
but it's because I'm trying to be positive.
Correct.
You know, You never like, especially this next movie we're going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about somebody's personal life in connection with said movie because that's not the same thing. I mean, it's two different things. So what is the next movie, ma'am?
All right, so here we go. The next movie is Agent Game. You can see there, Lord, who all's in this movie? I don't know the other people's
Dermot
names.
Mulroney.
Yes, Dermot Mulroney over here. We know Mel Gibson, and what's this lady's name? Annie. Oh gosh, Elonze.
No, there's another lady in this too. Jason Isaacs. Oh, Katie Cassidy from Arrow. And then Jason Isaacs, which is Malfoy's dad.
Malfoy.
He's also the Grand Inquisitor on thing, and I don't know why they didn't cast him in the show. Never mind.
You know what? They do things that we don't understand. We'll have to talk about that later. Anyway. All right. So basically,
hey, can I say before you do your thing, I was excited to see this because I'm not a fan of Mel Gibson the human, but I am a fan of Mel Gibson the actor. And
I agree.
I will watch anything Mel Gibson does. Statement. I think he's a horrible human being, but I am a fan of his, and I will still watch it. So he's been popping up in a lot more stuff, and I'm always excited to see what he does, especially after seeing him in the last couple things. He did some really good performances.
I mean,
between Last Looks and Father Stew, I thought he was really good again. So tell us about his return in here.
And still, I mean, he is still Braveheart. I mean, that is a great movie.
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ is an amazing movie.
Anyway.
And the other one, the Santa Claus movie, is the best Santa Claus movie ever. Fat Man.
Fat Man is
best
excellent if you haven't
Santa
seen
Claus movie ever.
If you haven't seen Fat Man, check
okay.
it. Anyway.
So basically it's a spy thriller. There's a group of these guys that work together and they're going to take out the bad guy. Okay, that's what you think. Well, in all spy thrillers, there's twists, turns, there's some double cross, there's some triple cross, and it goes crazy off the rails, right? My particular problem with this is that it went so crazy off the rails, I didn't even know what the heck was going on.
You are not alone, sister.
Okay, I was like, wait, I even rewound it, like that one part on the plane?
I watched the movie.
Did I miss something?
We watched the movie separately. And I watched it, and I was like, what the hell is going on in this movie? And that kind of thing happens in a lot of movies that are crafted the way this was crafted, but usually by the end of it, it all circles back together. And you realize, oh, this was a flashback, or this was going at this time, or this was simultaneous. And then you're like, oh, that's so cool. It made sense. This one never did that.
It did.
It has an opening sequence with Mel Gibson that sets intrigue.
Yes.
Then it circles back to that sequence, and it has no more intrigue than it did at the beginning. Because it still was like, it's almost like they were setting up for something that's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Because it's like, the opening and the ending are the same,
correct,
but they go nowhere.
Correct. And then, it's just, I was confused at one point because I thought there was this other person that was with them. And then I thought, oh, they're going to be the one that's actually on the other side. But then I think it was another person. And I was like, where did this other person come from? Did I miss it? And I don't think I did. They just suddenly appeared. And then there was another lady that looked kind of like this lady. So
that's
I got
Katie Cassidy.
Okay.
The one that he's talking to in the office?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the chick from Arrow. That's his girlfriend. But she had the long hair, the attorney.
Yeah, I got so confused, y'all.
Yeah, it's convoluted. It's all over the place.
It's convoluted. It's over the place.
And here's the problem. I mean, here's what's sad. It's not a bad movie. There's some great action.
The fighting's pretty good.
Yeah, there's some intrigue. There's a story there that was probably really compelling. But it's so convoluted.
I think something got cut somewhere. There's a cut scene somewhere.
Mel Gibson is not a throwaway cameo. He's in the movie, pretty much just dialogue. He's kind of an office guy.
Yeah, so but I like closer to the end. There's that cool scene with him, and he's like,
yeah, he probably shot most of the scenes in a couple of days, kind of thing. But it's just one of those movies that
it didn't connect.
Just doesn't work.
Yeah,
it's like I wish it did.
I wish it really did.
It's got a great cast. Yeah. This annoys me. And people not ask me, but I hear people all the time going like, how can I have such a great cast and be such a bad movie? And I've heard a lot of actors that do interviews that they talk about signing up for movies.
Yeah, they thought it was
read a script, they shoot a movie, but then about halfway through, they know that it's not the movie they thought they were getting. Whether it's because of budget cuts, whether it's because of
direction,
the way a scene is coming out, the director themselves. Like Aeon Flux is a great example with Charlize Theron. Aeon Flux was a huge fan of that cartoon, and that movie came out, and that movie is trash.
I liked it.
I like the movie, but it's a trash movie. But if you compare it to the animated thing, it's horrible, but it had potential. She said, that is not the movie I was making that we got.
Yeah.
She goes, but you don't always know that.
And redirected or cut.
Yeah, somewhere. And sometimes I'm sure there's actors that are doing movies, I don't think there's any actor that's a big name actor like some of the ones in here that make a movie. They know it's going straight to video. They make a movie. Sometimes it's just a job. Nicolas Cage used to say all the time, half the movies I took, and Eric Roberts told me in an interview one time, he goes, I'm an actor. I act. It's my job. So I will take a role if I think that, he goes, I don't care if the rest of the movie sucks. If I think the role that they're offering me is compelling, I will take the role. He goes, I may never watch the movie. And I think that's what happens in movies like this. Is on the page, it was probably really good. And as you said, something got cut. Something wasn't edited right.
There's just something that didn't connect there in the middle with that one guy and that one lady.
Somebody tried to get too creative with the storytelling.
Okay.
So.
Because then you also don't know how it all connects back to, I don't know. There's something missing. But anyways.
Quan Chi's rambling on, and I agree. Jojo Rabbit is an excellent movie.
Anyway, so there you go.
Let me say that. That goes in this pile over here.
Okay, thank you. All right. The next movie that came out this past weekend is the movie Interceptor with Elsa Pataki. I want to say Pataki. I don't know if that's how you say it correctly. Pataki.
AKA Mrs. Chris Hemsworth.
She's Chris Hemsworth's wife, but doesn't matter.
No, she was, if you don't know who she is, she was in 2 or 3 of the Fast and Furious movies. I think 5, 6, 7, maybe.
Yeah, she was the agent from Mexico.
Yeah.
So.
And she's really good in those movies. So I was kind of excited to see
her. Yeah, and I was like, oh, she got buffed up.
Yeah,
she's gonna do
excited to see her lead an action film.
Okay.
This movie has so many problems. The action is not the problem.
No.
Some of the fight scenes and stuff are actually really
good.
Well done.
The action's good.
They wear thin because it gets tiresome watching this lady fight all guys that are 5 times her size, that there's no way she would beat that many of them. Not saying that she couldn't, but after taking beatings that she takes, there's no way she could keep fighting. I know that's a movie thing. You throw that away. There's never an explanation of why she is such a badass fighting. Just that she's been in the military, which that's what I think is one thing it's missing, is we didn't get a backstory of her history as a military person. We only got a backstory of the problem that brought her back where she's at, which is another major issue in this movie.
Mm-hmm. My major issue is they're on this station in the middle of the ocean.
It's essentially an ocean platform. And people
that's like,
what do you mean? Maybe like 5 stories, 10 stories high?
Correct.
Out of the water?
And these people jump through the sky into the platform.
Okay, let me rephrase that, because that makes it sound way more ridiculous than it is.
It is ridiculous.
Oh, no, it's ridiculous. But they don't jump through the sky. We don't know how they do it, but it's not physically possible.
Anyway.
Like the first time you see it, it's basically a sequence where they bust through this floor panel to get in. So the movie's essentially Die Hard on a water platform.
Correct.
She's held up. She's trying to hold this base. It's a missile turret base to help fight against Russian.
It's an interceptor base.
Yeah,
that intercepts
nuclear
missiles coming to
and
US.
She's holding up, trying to keep the terrorists out of it. She's the only person that can. And there's a sequence where it's a cool sequence. This thing, like you see, like the explosive fire thing that busts the panel busts open, and this Asian guy jumps up through the thing, and then a karate fight ensues. You're like, hell yeah. Then she looks down the panel after the whole fight's over. You just see the ocean, like way down there, and you're like, okay.
How did he jump up?
How did he jump in? It's not how did he come in, how did he burn it? Because later on, they do show, matter of fact, in the sequence you see on this poster,
she's holding
on. Her
There's
hanging on these things underneath.
Right.
But there's never a footed platform that would allow her, had she swung this way.
Yes.
That might make sense. 3 people spring load into this room to that platform. Not even physically possible. No way possible. No ropes, nothing to put their foot on, nothing. That was just one thing. The other major issue with this film is it tries to be way more important than it is.
Mm.
It is one of those films that crowbars in the Me Too movement, immigration, some of the race stuff.
Felt like a little Proud Boys movement in that.
Yeah, well, that goes into the immigration kind of stuff. Yeah, like Trump era stuff.
This is our America.
Yeah, and
I was like,
it's out of place. Not
pushing
because
a lot of agendas.
Yeah, not because they're not important to try to deal with, but this movie is not that movie. because like
it shouldn't have been.
No, and they could have kept her backstory of why she was here, made it a kind of just a very quick. She was screwed over because of what happened. Give her a more heroic moment in that situation that they never gave her.
Mm-hmm.
No, not really. But it was like, hey, she needs a backstory, so let's make it an agenda. And they do 3 or 4 of those. They keep shoving them in, and then you feel like you're in an Asylum movie. That's a really bad action flick. That's all over the place. Tons of bad decision making.
Yes, always bad decisions.
Yeah, there's like one moment where they're spoiler, but they're fighting together, and he goes, "Fine, I'm going to do this," and he blows up half of the bottom of the platform. Like, why didn't you just do that at the beginning? Like, it didn't change anything, but then it didn't even accomplish anything. It was like, it's not a good movie. One of the good things about it,
some of the fights were really good.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you that the fights are good.
She's
good.
There's a completely useless but kind of funny cameo from Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, I need to keep the spoiler alert on.
It's not even a spoiler anymore. Chris Hemsworth does show up in the movie in a very small role that has nothing to do with the movie. It makes no sense of how it even happens. It was clearly shoehorned in.
It was there.
To say, how can we make Chris Hemsworth in this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just so many things that were kind of getting pushed in your face that if they had just told the story without pushing it, we would have gotten the message. We're not dumb.
No, they could have just moved on.
We understand Me Too. We understand harassment in the military. I think we understand your middle-aged white men. Are we allowed to call them WASPs anymore?
Call them what?
WASP, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant people.
Okay, is
that racist?
That is, because that's not.
I apologize.
Yeah, that's a thing that Italian people use too. Anyway, yeah. So
don't say that. I was just saying.
Okay, well, yeah, don't say that.
Anyways, your middle-aged white men that
avoid this movie is the big.
Hate immigrants. She's going through her. I mean, it's just too much.
Repertoire.
I apologize if I was offensive. I didn't know.
This movie is just not good. I mean, it's
the fighting's
good.
If
you like really bad, cheesy action flicks, this is a movie for you.
So we don't like everything.
There's 3 movies in a row we didn't really like.
Gosh, I'm so
this
sorry.
One doesn't really have a redeeming quality. Though the problem is it never really gets good. It's again.
I think she took the direction that was given to her.
But I don't think she was good in the movie either. That's the problem. Is she felt like.
I still don't understand.
Somebody said, I feel like her acting direction they were given, because she's great in the Fast and Furious movies and other movies I've seen her in. She's a good actress. But I feel like the director said, okay, what I want you to do is when you walk around, pretend there's a stick in your butt. Wow. And act like that all day. And so the whole movie, she's like,
yeah.
You know, and it's just not good. So, I mean.
Poor thing.
If you want to try it, go ahead. But just remember what I told you. And here's what might happen for you, because this has happened to me before. You might watch and be like, it ain't that bad. Because okay. I told you it's bad. So now you go into it's bad and be like,
see, bad. So we've made it better for you.
That's happened to me. That's the other thing is when I hear people bash a movie, I go see it, and 90% of the time I come out like, the movie's not as bad as they said.
Yeah.
Because I'm preconceived that it was.
But the problem too is when I tell you something's hilarious and you don't think it is.
No, because your humor is ridiculous. All right, moving on.
Okay.
It's on Netflix now. Interceptor.
There you go. Okay, the next one. Hold on, let me post a link to our review. The next one we'll see.
I barely remember this one.
I will tell you all about this one because although it's okay, I enjoyed it.
Row 19.
Row 19. So you can tell here it's like a horror movie, and it tells you that something mysterious is taking over the plane. Will they make it? Ooh.
Do, do, do.
All right. So this is a what language film? Russian movie, I believe. Female doctor with her 6-year-old daughter on a night flight in a terrible storm. Unexplained deaths are all around her, and she loses her grip on reality to reveal the worst nightmare. Okay, I believe it is a Russian movie. Doesn't matter. Watch it in English, watch it in Russian, subtitles, whatever. I think we watched it in English because it was late and we were tired.
Yeah. So if you want to hear about movies that we don't just love, this is another one for me.
It was okay. I actually would watch this one again.
Yeah, this one is not a bad movie. My problem with this movie is it's very slow paced. Then finally stuff starts to happen. You get all sucked into it. and then it slows to a crawl again. Because
mm-hmm.
it's constantly trying to build tension where there's never any tension to build, is my problem.
Correct.
And it's another one that's kind of all over the place, trying to be deeper than it really is.
Correct.
It has some promising moments. Some of the kills and deaths and visuals are really good.
There's that cool, I don't know, can I say there's a fire stunt. Cool. Yeah. But then there's just some random things, like there's this random, I don't know if she's a witch.
Yeah, that's the thing, is there's a lot of stuff that's not really answered
Rando, either. And then you kind of move on for an hour or something, and then they're on another flight, and I'm like, hold on, okay, I think it's starting to make sense. So I started getting it. So I was like, okay, I'm back in. And I think you might have fallen asleep at some point.
Yeah, and I said it in my review that it's one of those that kept getting me interested and disinterested at the same time. Yeah,
because things would happen, and then it would slow back down to where it's just her and her kid fighting. Don't leave me. I would never leave you. Don't leave me. I never, like the whole movie. And then she gets up to go check on something, and then the little girl's crying and screaming over here. And then they're back together. Don't leave me. I'd never leave you. So it's this whole thing over and over. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm trying to be more in tune with all the death. I don't know.
It starts off very strong with the opening sequence.
Yeah.
It's got some cool effects. It's got a very kind of intense kind of moment that sets the tone for the rest of the movie. So you're like, oh, right, I'm ready for this. And then it slows to a crawl for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it finally things start happening, you get invested. Okay, now we're going to get into it. And like I said, it sucks you back into that slow crawl again, and it keeps doing that. And then it gets confusing a little bit because it gets convoluted. It's not that you can't understand it. It's not that hard to figure out what's happening, but it just never fully invests the time to be what it is. Because it's too busy trying to go engaging, shock factor, in-depth story, and it's never comes together for me anyway.
Well, I think it was trying to do two things. So if you look at the poster, to me it looks like a classic horror thing where people are suddenly dying, and in my mind I immediately thought, oh, virus killing all of us, or someone's going to turn into a vampire and eat us all. So we have that horror element, but at the same time we have like this weird sci-fi witch thing that never really come together. So it's like I'm trying to tell this story, but I'm trying to tell this story.
It spends a lot of time also trying to give it. I know they're trying to build character development and make you know who these characters, but like there's a long time spent with this one alcoholic business type guy insulting an artist.
Correct.
And the artist is super confusing and cliched, and like every time we get to him, the guy asks him a question and then insults him, and then it becomes a back and forth thing that serves no purpose.
Well, and I think the third story for me, besides all the people on the planes, is dealing with this lady's trauma.
Yeah.
But we never get to go in one or either of these 3 or 4 directions. It's so
too much.
It's too much.
There's too much that you can't,
and it doesn't know where it wants to be.
Yeah.
Are you sci-fi? Are you a drama?
I'm going to use a statement I put in my review. It never finds its flight path.
I would watch it again though, because now that I kind of know what's happening, I want to see. I got it. I've got it immediately.
No, I understand what you're saying.
You know, and I don't think you did because you weren't listening or paying attention.
Well, I lost interest and I dozed off.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understood what was going on. I think here's my issue. I'm fine with movies that want to make you feel like you want to watch again because you want to see if you can catch something that you missed.
Like maybe I missed
or
something.
Different engaging stuff. But I'm only interested in that if the movie engaged me in the first place. So it didn't engage me enough to care about going back to find it. I'm not interested now.
Well, I want to see if I can find some redeeming
you can watch
quality.
We own it, so you can watch as many times as you want.
Okay, but basically, like I told you, this movie is, what was that movie called?
Soul Survivor?
It's Soul Survivors on a plane. That's all you need to know.
And now everybody's gonna be like, what the hell is Soul Survivor?
If you ever watch Soul Survivors, doesn't matter. All right, let's talk about the big thing this weekend. This little movie about
somebody's like, can you please tell him about good movies?
Yeah, we're about to.
All right, let's dive into the world of the dinosaurs.
Oh, I didn't wear my dinosaur shirt.
You dummy.
And then Godzilla's light went out.
Godzilla's not a dinosaur.
He is a dinosaur. He's prehistoric.
He's a lizard. Gigantic lizard man.
A man in a suit.
So, I don't want to spend a long time on the entire franchise of Jurassic Park.
But we can talk about it very quickly.
Both of us did. You did watch them all, right?
I did watch them all.
We both did separate marathons of watching all 5 of the original films before going to see Jurassic World. Jurassic World Dominion, excuse me. Before this new movie, because I don't know your full feelings on the new movie.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Jurassic? Because you're not a big Jurassic Park fan.
I am not a big Jurassic Park fan at all. I love dinosaurs.
No, she doesn't.
But the movies were always just like, oh, that's okay.
No. You're not you don't like dinosaurs if you don't like it. No.
I like the original one. Because I think it was our first look at like, oh my gosh, there's actual dinosaurs in a movie. They're ginormous. They're doing this stuff. They're kicking the car around. So I thought it was cool in that sense. Obviously, the dinosaurs got better and better as we go. So by the time we get to Jurassic Park 3, they look really good.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. Moving on. So I never thought we were going to get Jurassic World.
Well, we all thought because Jurassic Park 3 is the least liked of the franchise.
But the dinosaurs look good.
And I don't think it got great reviews. I'm not sure how well it did their box office. So it was kind of the assumption that the Jurassic Park world was over.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they came back with Jurassic World. It was kind of meant to be a reboot of the franchise, but also continuation. So we didn't know at the time if we were going to get any of the classic people back because, like, Sam Neill had been pretty adamant about he probably would never come back to the franchise. He didn't say he never would, but it was like, there's no reason, and why would I did my thing.
Yeah.
He did the first one, then he did the third one. Jeff Goldblum did the first one and the second one, but didn't do the third one. So I'm with you. The original Jurassic Park is an excellent movie.
Yeah.
I love all of these movies.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Jurassic franchise. I recognize, I love Jurassic Park 3, but I'm not a fan of Téa Leoni.
That's what ruins
she didn't
that
scream
movie.
Near as much as the way you described it that I remembered once I watched it. But I'm not a fan of her, period.
I'm not either.
I like her in Bad Boys, but she's not in that movie that much.
Yeah. I don't. that's what ruined 3 for me is her screaming throughout the whole thing. I'm over it. But the dinosaurs look so good.
I think the story of Jurassic Park 3 is stupid.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem with that movie.
First of all, why would you go parasailing near an island that has dinosaurs? That's just dumb.
That's the problem. Is I like Jurassic Park 3 for what it is, but the story is stupid.
It's dumb.
But I love the Jurassic World movies. I know there's people that think the first one was good and the second one was and apparently a lot of people are bashing the new one. But I love the Jurassic World franchise, and one of the things that I know me and you discussed about the Jurassic film, you always think, and I'm curious if you still think the same thing now that you rewatched all 6 now. Before we started watching, you kept saying, well, every movie's the same. It's the same every movie. And to me, it's not. Each movie kind of evolved. They go to different islands. Are they in the same situation? Yeah, because there's only so many things you can do with dinosaurs. They do
dumb things. The dinosaurs get loose, and now you're like, oh, we got to get away.
Yeah, but to me, that's not the same as a lot of the bad decision making in a lot of movies. That's normal, stupid human behavior of, no. We can do it right this time. That's the problem with Jurassic Park 3.
Every single movie.
Is Jurassic Park 3 is a stupid decision in general, and then a stupid decision of why to go to the island, and a stupid decision. Like Jurassic Park 2 makes sense because they're going to the second island, and there's, he goes back because his girlfriend's there, and it's more of like a nature preserve mentality. It's not a park. And it makes sense in its connection and that's why there's more dinosaurs. Jurassic World, I think, makes the most sense of them all because, of course, somebody's going to take the idea of Jurassic Park, be like, don't worry, we can do it right this time.
Yeah.
And I like diving into Jurassic World is it's already a fully functional park that's been open.
That's working.
Where the original Jurassic Park, it was not open to the public. They were going to see it.
But I think the thing that you learned from the very first movie, because he told us in the very first movie not to be jacking around, making new breeds and mixing things with whatever. And that's what happened in Jurassic World. It's like, we can make Isla Nuba, whatever it's called, work. And so it is working.
Indominus Rex.
Until they start.
Or is that the second one?
Until they start mixing whatever, the raptor DNA with whatever in that first one. And she's having to run in high heels through the park. I mean, come on.
but that was pretty badass.
But she did it.
All that. So anyway, so we do all these storylines.
I think it proves humans
We're finally here to what is being billed as the final film in the Jurassic franchise.
The end of the
And I'm pretty sure it probably will be. I think they did a great job of bringing both trilogies together, letting them be their own thing, but now bringing them together in a way that actually made sense. I don't understand all the bashing of this film.
Really?
There's so many people have given it bad reviews.
Well, that guy that when we were at the movie,
me and him usually see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, but he was talking about
he hates all of them. He said,
"Is that what he said?"
He said all of these movies are stupid. They're dumb. This would never happen. Who's the director guy? Should know better.
Colin Trevorrow.
Yes, they need to write a letter and take away his card or whatever.
Does he think the same thing about Spielberg?
I have no idea.
Because Spielberg directed the first two.
I don't know.
And produced all of them.
Who knows?
I really like this new one, and now I will say, in all of them there's flaws, and this one's not any different. Mm-hmm. It's a little clunky at first, and then some of the editing is not great. There is a lot of elements where it's like more about how can we put them in a sequence to have to fight a dinosaur, and there is a lot of conveniently getting away. That nobody can get away but this one person, but you buy into that as part of the franchise.
Yeah. I'm actually going to say I liked this movie. I really enjoyed it.
So is this your favorite one of the franchises?
I'm going to say this is my favorite because it's not us on a dumb island, which I'm telling you, why would you ever go to an island with dinosaurs? That's like so stupid. This is not Ice Age, my friends. You're not going to find Ray Romano and Queen Latifah being like, "Oh, can be part of our family."
I like that.
No,
I like that.
You're going to find.
I like that you just bypassed that they were mammoths instead of saying you wouldn't find mammoths that talk up. That you made it sound like you go to an island, you just find Ray Romano and Queen Latifah
nice
running around talking to you. Forget that they were
nice fuzzy mammoths.
Forget that they were voicing mammoths. It wasn't a rap star and a comedic actor standing on an island together.
It's nice people. Okay. No, you're going to find T-Rexes, raptor hybrids, people messing around with DNA and creating things that were not meant to exist. But the thing I like about it is now this is in our world, right?
Yeah.
Because what's his name told us, life always finds a way.
Yeah. Well, and
Your favorite, Mr. Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum makes everything better.
He makes everything better.
He is one of the most eccentric, eclectic people in the planet. And I think the guy you see in the interviews and the guy is just him.
It's him.
He's artsy, he's weird, and I love everything about that man. And in the movie, he still feels like even though he's a little more out there than he was in the original movie by now, because I think he's opened up and he found new things and done more things, and he's kind of been more himself now. He still felt like the same guy that he'd grown. And like there's a scene in the movie when you first seeing that he's involved in the new situation. And I was irritated at first because it made no sense in connection to his cameo in Fallen Kingdom, because, he's at Congress or whatever talking about, this is stupid. Stop doing this. And he was the voice in the original movie. Stop doing this. Like throughout the franchise, Jeff Goldblum has always been stop doing this.
Stop splicing.
So when we see him, but he has a great dialogue in this one where he talks about, I spent years of telling people to stop doing this. This is not what he says, but he goes, nobody listens, so why bother? Mm-hmm. But then you find out there's more to it, and that's awesome.
I liked him. Actually, I liked everyone in this, which is surprising because I don't normally like everyone. And I think it took a while, but I think everybody meshed well together, the groups.
Yeah, it was a little clunky, and that's where it kind of fell apart. It's like for most of the movie, they're all separated.
Correct.
Which is good because it gives everybody, I was very happy that everybody got an arc in this movie.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum has the smallest arc, but I also think it made more sense. And he also has appeared already. So his return wasn't as big a deal as Sam Neill and Laura Dern's, because they're coming back some years ago. And I think they're not glorified cameos. This is an ensemble.
Not the ensemble.
Ensemble film.
It really is.
The original actors and the new actors film.
But they do mesh well together in the end.
And even B.D. Wong, who played the little scientist guy in the very first film that made the dinosaurs, essentially. Uh-huh. It was his scientific engineering.
Splicing.
He came back into the world of Jurassic World and has been kind of a regular there. Even he gets kind of a story arc that kind of wraps him up. And I love the way they handled his character in this, because they bring him for a circle to not only tell the audience, we know he's one of the originals too. It's not just those three.
Correct. It's him too.
He's been there too.
Major player.
So let's give him an arc.
Yeah.
Even though he's not in the movie a ton as a major player.
Yeah.
He has a very important pivotal part, and he's given those in sequence. So when you get to the end of the movie and you have everybody there, he's with them.
Yeah.
Not with them like he's helping necessarily, but he's there.
Right. I liked it. It's a really good movie. I think it makes sense. It wraps everything up. It does touch back to the original things. There's some little things, Easter eggy things. Yeah. There's some prop thing. There's things that just connects the whole world, but it makes sense of the direction we go with the power and the money and who owns the power and money. It makes sense because that's what we would do.
This entire franchise is still that the worst thing on the planet are the humans.
We're the worst.
I will say that the entire cloning aspect that has been part of the story from day one, but embellished to a new direction in the last film, it continues in this one, is stupid. But it's a stupidity you buy into for buying into these films.
But Dolly was real, so it's possible.
The what?
Dolly, the sheep.
Yeah, I know, but if you're gonna buy into that,
you just got to go with it.
But I'm saying, if you buy into Jurassic Park, you kind of have to buy into the evolution of the other ridiculous nature of what they do with cloning and how it goes. And then at the same time, there's a lot of people make really dumb decisions. Of course they do.
They always do.
But that's part of the, I can handle dumb decision making if it's an entertaining movie. If it's a dumb decision making and it's a frustrating movie, it doesn't work. These movies went from being, the first movie is almost like action horror, trying to scare you, where these are full on action flicks now.
Yeah,
there's not scary moments anymore. It's
some of it is
not really. It's like, most of these people are going to live. There's going to find some way out. Like what Chris Pratt does. The rapper is not going to eat Chris Pratt. He's Chris freaking Pratt.
He's the
but
raptor whisperer.
You still get into this movie. This movie felt like a James Bond movie with dinosaurs. That's what I got out of it. Like that entire sequence you see in the trailer with Chris Pratt on the motorcycle and raptors chasing him.
Yeah.
Felt like James Bond on the motorcycle running through those same streets.
Yeah.
But with motorcycles chasing him.
Well, and I think what I like most was the end of the movie, how it ends, because that to me is what would logically happen.
Because there is no ending.
Correct. But what we see, that's what would happen.
There's no ending. There's more evolution that it could be looked at as, they're trying to set up more. But in reality, to me, it was like, no, they're saying this is it. There's nothing you can do about it. There's elements to stop. But eventually nature and evolution is going to thrive and connect and grow together like it does in the real world. Well, because
he told us life always finds a way, and it really does.
It does.
The world will evolve.
I had this. This is another fun entry to me. I thought it was a blast. I would watch it numerous times. I love all these movies. Maybe I'm not the right guy to talk about Jurassic Park or Jurassic World because I love them all. I also recognize.
I think that's why I think I'm a good opinion, because I didn't like any of them.
Yeah. But I think
kind of recently.
Here's the difference between loving all those movies or loving any franchise. I can recognize the flaws.
Yeah.
Like I love every Star Wars thing that's ever come out, but I can tell you parts of them that suck. That doesn't change the fact that I love the world of Star Wars and everything they put out. Every movie that's come out, I've loved it. But yes, I can come out and say the whole Canto Bright scene sucks. I can tell you
that part.
It's horrible, but I can tell you, I guess I get its purpose.
Yeah.
The entire, most of Phantom Menace sucks, but the pod race is awesome. And you have a different opinion. You hate the pod race.
I hate them. I want to fast forward through. I just want to skip scene to the next scene.
Yeah.
That to me is such a waste of time.
But it's so awesome.
Okay.
So that's the kind of thing. It's just kind of how you connect and look at
whatever.
it. So it's the same thing with these Marvel movies. Is my comic book nerd inside me loves some of them and is frustrated to no end because so much of it is not the way it's supposed to be. It's not how it was handled in the comics. Doesn't make any sense. But then there's other elements that are like, oh my God, they did it awesome. And, I've had arguments with people about Marvel this, Marvel that, and find out they're only fans of the movie, so they don't know anything about the history. And so it changes your dynamic. If you love the movie, but you've never read the comic, you're going to have a different vision than I have. So anyway, Jurassic World Dominion is in theaters now. I believe it was a massive hit.
Yeah, I'm sure it was big numbers.
They talked about
big numbers.
Well, they were talking about thinking that it was going to be the lowest grossing Jurassic film so far.
I don't think so.
Because I guess it wasn't tracking. But they think it's going to, right now, it's not Sunday, so I can't get officially, but they said it's looking to be about 142 million opening. I hope this is the last one. Not because I don't want more dinosaurs, because the only thing I want from a Jurassic Park movie or Jurassic movie of any kind is I want dinosaurs destroying stuff and chaos. And every one of these movies gives me that. I also want a big props that they found ways to make some of the dinosaurs look like they're technically supposed to look.
Yes.
With feathers or fur or whatever.
Thank you.
That, there's been an ongoing thing that a lot of people may not know, but stuff I've read and researched about how raptors were supposed to have feathers.
Yeah.
They weren't supposed to be just lizard-like. And they actually talk about it in this movie. Well, this is an unaltered clone. We made them more like they're supposed to look. And the other ones, we had to get rid of that genome because of this and this and this. So we actually got to see a raptor with feathers and stuff that we're supposed to. So anyway, moving on, sister. What else you got? It's in theaters now. That it?
That's it. That's you.
I thought we had another one. Okay.
No, that was it.
Wow. Okay. We zoomed through all that today, didn't we? All right. So my turn then?
Yeah.
Are we on contest? Is that what I'm doing?
No, you're telling me what's coming out the theater.
I thought it was contest first and then.
Oh, well, you can do that too. I don't have it ready. I don't have them, so you're going to have to just talk.
Okay, that's fine. You don't need to. Some of it changed, and there's going to be some other changes. For contest this week, we have actually some new stuff that's up. We still got copies of Singing in the Rain on 4K.
Singing in the Rain.
Row 19 that we talked about, we have some of those to give away if you want to check it out and not have to pay for it. You'd probably like it even more if you didn't have to pay for it. We got copies of the Batman.
See, got it right here.
Available on 4K. Look at there, right 19. There it is.
It could be yours.
We have the new movie Ip Man: The Awakening, which is not connected to the Donnie Yen Ip Man franchise. It's its own thing. I've got a couple of 4Ks that are they're kind of exciting for me to give away just because I think they're great. I have both. I'm sorry, one of them is a 4K, one of them is a Blu-ray, but the 40th anniversary limited edition steelbook of Friday the 13th Part 3.
Nice.
And do you know what is significant about Part 3?
What's significant about Part 3?
I'm asking you.
No.
Do you know why this movie is the most important film of the Friday the 13th franchise?
We see his face.
You do see his face, but you're close.
We find out it's his mom.
This is the movie that he gets the hockey mask.
Oh.
He did not have a hockey mask prior to this movie. Even though we all know Jason as the killer with the hockey mask.
It was actually his mom.
It was a mom in the first movie. Jason's not even in the movie until the very last scene of the movie. The second movie, he's wearing a bag on his head with one hole cut out. This one, which was in 3D in theaters, so it was all fun to watch because everything's going right at the camera. This is the movie he gets his hockey mask like the later end of the movie.
Cool.
And then forever became Jason in the hockey mask that we know and love. So anyway, we got this 40th anniversary limited edition Blu-ray steelbook to give away. We also have a 4K limited edition steelbook of Raiders of the Lost Ark, the original of the Indiana Jones franchise, and there's Indiana Jones 5 going to be coming out. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but with Harrison Ford returning. So it's going to be Indiana Jones and standing in line at the retirement home. We got both copies of these to give away. We also have some TV series stuff that's going to be given away. They're not on the site yet, but there is going to be Ray Donovan the movie. I'm going to have a copy of that to give away. Curb Your Enthusiasm, the latest season of that, and I think there's a season of Lucifer we have to give away, and something else. So those will be going up on the site soon.
Okay, so if you want free stuff, go to the website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Click on the contest button. Some of y'all are asking for stuff.
And read it,
go.
read it.
Go
Email
now.
us the entries. Some people post their answers on Instagram, or they posted them on Twitter or underneath the contest. That's fine, but I can't promise that I will remember it from there because I shuffle through them. I pick people at random, and if they're not in the same place, I may not remember you entered.
There you go.
So share it out. Tell your friends. Moving on. My turn again, right?
Yeah, tell me about
I gotta do everything. Okay, so this week there's a few things. Of course, this 4K edition of Raiders of the Lost Ark is coming out. Titans, the complete seasons 1 and 2 are coming out. They have released those individually, but they're releasing a set together. Father Stu with Mark Wahlberg and Mel Gibson about the guy that was a professional boxer that became a priest.
It's really good.
True story. It's a really good movie. Morbius, which let's talk about that really quick because
I finally watched it.
She finally got to see it. Morbius, the vampire Morbius the Living Vampire. It's a new Marvel movie through Sony, so it's in that universe. It's another movie that got bashed. I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was fine. I thought it was enjoyable, but it's not great, but whatever. Real fast, what is your assessment now that you've seen it?
I liked it. I think parts of it were very predictable about what was going to happen and who did what. And I was just like, okay. I liked the makeup designs. It was really interesting. But I don't understand why one looked so much different than another if we're in the same place. I guess that's why I have to talk about that later. But, the one character from the next character to the next one. I mean, it's interesting how that happened. It was a fine movie. I think I was expecting more or different. It was okay.
And here, you know what? One of the problems with a movie like this, it's kind of the same as Venom, which I love the Venom movies, and I totally expected to hate them.
Yeah.
But when you try to watch these kind of movies, but it's from Marvel, you expect these gigantic spectacle, epic films, even on single characters. And this movie feels like a smaller movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, what I would really like to know is, because you hate Jared Leto.
I don't hate him. I just think he's weird.
What did you think of him in this movie?
He was okay. I liked him. I mean, I liked him in that last movie. He was creepy, but I liked him.
The little things, the serial killer thing?
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay, moving on.
But it was fine. It's okay. I was expecting
also,
something
that
different.
King Tweety movie is coming out this week. And I think that's pretty much, there's some other random stuff, but I think those are the bigger things.
We don't send out codes. Someone's asking to send codes.
Oh.
We don't have codes.
That was a one-time thing that I sent him a long time ago, because we had some that we were giving away, but we do not have any.
Yeah,
they haven't sent me anymore. If they send me more, I'll put them up and I'll let you know. But they haven't sent me any.
They haven't been doing that lately. It's weird. That's what
I will tell you
this.
I used to get a ton of Disney codes. I'd get a ton of giveaways. I'd get Blu-rays. Disney does not send out physical copies for review anymore, or at least to me.
They've changed.
I don't think they send it to a lot of people. Some people that have more readership and status probably get something, but they did tell me that they don't send out physical copies as much. They send out digital copies. So they send out a single digital copy for me to review. So like I may have it on My Movies Anywhere or whatever, but
we don't get copies of those.
Yeah. Part of it is getting away from the physical media of sending it out, because they're like stuff like Miss Marvel and things like that are on Disney Plus. They just send me a screening link to watch it in case I don't have Disney Plus.
Yeah,
but usually I get it. Anything. Like they sent me episode 4 of Obi-Wan, and it wasn't available to watch until it was live on Disney Plus. So it's like I don't need to watch it. I just watch on Disney Plus. But I think they sent it to me like that in case I didn't have Disney Plus, so I could still review it.
Yeah.
So there's just not a lot of digital codes anymore. It may get more happen, but the likelihood for myself is not. Anyway, sorry.
We can't even get.
Yeah.
All right, coming out at the theater or on the line. So coming out Tuesday to Netflix is the new Jennifer Lopez documentary, Halftime, about the making of, or the putting together of their halftime show last year at the Super Bowl. I will be watching this. I'm very excited to see it. Coming out Thursday on Netflix, there is a documentary, I guess. It's called Sing, Dance, Act, Kabuki, featuring Toma Ekatu. And it is about this guy who is joining a Kabuki series stage dance competition. So
did you say Space Jam?
Stage dance.
I thought he was joining Space Jam. I'm like, ooh,
Kabuki Space Jam series.
I was ready for that. Never mind.
Okay, it's a Kabuki stage series. Anyways, next coming out on Friday. Nationwide, there's a movie called Brian and Charles. It's about this inventor, and
it's about the robot.
He builds a robot like out of a washing machine or something.
Yeah. It looks great. The guy that's in it, is it David Earl? I think he's the main guy.
Yeah,
he's in a bunch of the Ricky Gervais shows that I watch. He's hilarious.
Okay,
and the movie looks great.
It looks interesting to me, so I think that's going to be a good one. Coming out on Prime Video is a movie called My Fake Boyfriend. It's this guy that's had a series of bad relationships. So he makes up this awesome boyfriend, and then craziness ensues. Coming out to Netflix, a movie called Spiderhead. This one stars Chris Hemsworth.
Is that this week?
Yes.
Oh.
Chris Helmsworth.
Also got one of your favorites in it.
Yes, he runs this state-of-the-art penitentiary where these guys are not locked up in jail cells. They're basically medicated to act the way they want to act. So if they act crazy, they give them medicine. If they want to be happy, they give them medicine. If they're sad, they give them medicine. So they're basically using them as test subjects for these mind-altering drugs. And I'm going to assume something goes awry, and we're going to see what happens.
Is that the one Miles Teller that's in it?
Miles Teller is in it.
I love it.
Great. Oh, goodness. Coming to Hulu, a movie called Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. This has Emma Thompson in it. And it's basically about this guy who becomes a sex worker, and somehow Emma Thompson gets involved. She's like a retired school teacher, and it's just a random quirkiness of events happens there, and that's on Hulu. Coming out to Paramount Plus, a movie called Jerry and Marge Go Large. This is based on a true story. It has Bryan Cranston in it.
He's like Rainn Wilson in it too.
Hold on. Yes.
Okay.
So and Annette Bening.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Basically, it's based on a true story. This mathematical genius finds a loophole in the lotto numbers, and they start winning this money, but they end up using it to make their hometown a better place. So it's actually kind of an endearing, weird, crazy story about the lottery. Kind of winning the lottery and doing crazy things with it. Who knows? It's interesting.
Hold on, I know that's limited, but what is that Cocoon? Is that some kind of it's not a remake of Cocoon.
No.
Oh, no, okay, it's
not at all.
I was just like, is that a remake?
No.
Okay.
Coming to Apple TV, it's this movie called Cha Cha Real Smooth, which I know you keep seeing and you're getting over. It's Dakota Johnson. And it says, college graduate gets a job as a party starter and befriends a young mother, Dakota Johnson, and her autistic daughter. So I think we're going to get probably a heartwarming story about that. Right. But see, when I hear about party starter, it makes me think of what's her name, who used to do bar mitzvahs and all that, because she was a party starter. That was her job. The funny lady. I'll come back to it.
What does she look like?
She's the black comedian lady that's super funny and everything. She's a stand-up comedian. She's funny. She shaved her head. She does the kids say the darn things.
Tiffany Haddish?
Tiffany Haddish. She was a party starter and bar mitzvah lady.
I got you.
Anyways, and then probably the big one of the week, the new movie, Lightyear, the story of Buzz Lightyear.
The real Buzz Lightyear.
The real Buzz Lightyear.
Without Tim Allen.
Which does not make any sense to me at all.
I'm hoping they make a reference in it. Maybe there'll be something that explains it, because I can see them. Because see, I guess it's been so long. I'm gonna rewatch Toy Stories. Not that it's a necessity for this, but I swore that in the Toy Story things, Buzz Lightyear was a TV series, like a cartoon they watched. But now we're making it that it's like a real life character. So now I'm wondering if the TV was a TV show that's based on the real life. So Tim Allen is the voice of the show. This is the real guy.
Oh, maybe.
But I don't know that for sure. But I swore that's what.
Well, because we know Woody was
Buzz
a TV
Lightyear
show.
in Star Command, and I thought that was like a whole thing. I swore they were watching the show at some point, but I could be making that.
But they were used to watch Woody on TV.
Yeah, so I may be merging the stories and not remembering.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not really interested in this. The funniest thing to me is his cat companion.
Well, I'll go see it without you then.
So, I thought you were going to see it without me.
I hadn't planned on we were going to go see it together.
Oh, okay.
I had a screening for it on Wednesday, but I didn't go to it.
Oh, okay. So
I thought my birthday is this week, so we were going to try to go, but then we had other plans.
We have other things to do. We have to go.
We're also going to be going to Fan Expo this weekend. Yeah, we're going to
Fan Expo.
We're going to make an appearance on Friday and Saturday. Gina Carano is going to be there among tons of other people, so I'm really going for her. Another one, I'm not a fan of her as a human being, but I'm a fan of her as not only the actor, but I'll probably talk about once I have an experience with her next week, but I have a longer connection to her as a fan that's way before anybody else knew who she was. Going back to her Muay Thai kickboxing days, American Gladiator, because she was Crush in the reboot of American Gladiator. So before a lot of people knew who she was from Deadpool and Haywire and all this other stuff, I'd known about her and been a fan of hers. And so we trained under the same Muay Thai master. She's the reason I found that Muay Thai master. And so anyway, once I get to meet her in person, we'll see how my experience goes. I'm not a fan of her politics and things she says.
She's a lovely person.
I'm sure she is. She's another one. I'm not a fan of the stuff she said and what she did. But I can separate the two.
Yeah, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I think it's the whole thing where you hold actors or stars to a different standard, which is unrealistic because they're people like we are.
What's funny is it's like, not to go down this rabbit hole, but the big popular thing is to say to people about politics, shut up and dribble or shut up and act. But those are the same people that voted in a reality show TV host to be president. Whether you like Trump or not, he was the shut up and act guy. Mm-hmm. He was the shut up, do your TV, be quiet. But it doesn't play that way anymore. But no, I was going to say, in relation to Mel Gibson and Gina Carano, talking about the difference between their performances and them as people, I was listening to the show called Comedy Goldmine, which is on Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Sirius channel. Uh-huh. And it's a series that Kevin Hart does. He interviews the comedians. And he was interviewing Seth Rogen. And Seth Rogen made that point of this exact thing about Mel Gibson. I was listening to it this morning. And he said, I am a huge fan of Mel Gibson. He goes, I think he's an atrocious human being. Yeah. He goes, because he's Jewish and he doesn't like the things. He goes, but I can separate the actor from the person. He goes, him being a horrible human being does not change the fact he's an amazing actor and director. Correct. He goes, so I'll watch anything he does, but I don't want to talk to him in person. Yeah. I mean, and that's okay. So anyway, moving on.
All right, friends, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Don't forget to go to the website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Click the contest button for all the free stuff. Thank you for watching us on YouTube and Facebook. Also, go find us on Instagram and Twitter.
Peace and love, children. We'll be back next week on Sunday to talk about Fan Expo or other movies and anything else we can figure out in between.